All right, let's move on to a very interesting fireside chat on the topic Immersive CX using Edge services. Understand from experts how Edge would help create a hyper-personalized omni-channel customer experience and why CX innovation drives computing to the edge. Our speaker for this chat is Andrew Lovrek, Cloud and Infrastructure Executive, Telstra. A brief introduction. Andrew is an IT Executive Director with a demonstrated history of working in the software, cloud, and workplace field. He's skilled in IT strategic transformation, delivery, people leadership, and operations. Strong consulting professional with relevant and current delivery experience he is. Chairing this session is Rohit Chandra, Vice President, Connectivity, Security and Cloud Enterprise, Vodafone-Idea. A brief introduction on Rohit. Rohit comes with a rich and unparalleled experience of more than 25 years in the telecom industry. He is an innovative technology and product leader with a demonstrated success in building and managing multi-product portfolios of fixed, security, data center, cloud, and private 5G and 4G. It's a pleasure to have you both here with us this afternoon. Without further ado, over to you, Rohit.
Thank you, Justin. It's a pleasure to be a part of this platform and have Andrew with me to talk about Immersive CX with Edge. I know a lot of discussions are happening on edge computing, cloud, and how do we actually create a differentiators with customer experience being key to all the large brands. Andrew, just sort of checking, I think you're breathing in and out cloud, and I thought of checking with you, how do you see Edge complementing display of cloud and enabling customers to offer immersive CX?
Yeah, it's a really good question, and thanks for involving and including me in this opportunity. I think cloud and the hyperscalers have obviously got innovation in spades. They've spent a lot of time in bringing the best research, the best development into faster compute storage and networking for their customers, for their customer experience. And I think as it stands today, there's now a responsibility from many other industries to start to participate in these use cases to help innovate, particularly from some of the telcos. Obviously, they have a responsibility to bring their network experience and presence, combine that with some of the fascinating investigations and items that are coming out of the hyperscalers to provide that edge service to our customers to help solve industry problems, to help solve social problems, and to enhance the way in which we bring those problem solvings together in creating new products and services. So that's where I think the two will come together.
That's good, Andrew. So one question which I always have in mind, Andrew, is we have cloud providers, we have telcos who are deploying edges, and cloud providers and the hyperscalers are also getting into the edge side of the business. How do you see both of these playing a role together, complementing each other? Or do you see a larger ecosystem play as well to deliver, customer experience to enterprise customers?
I think it's about collaboration, right? Really clearly, the two need to work collaboratively and work together to bring the best of both worlds. So bring experience and knowledge and acumen around networking type or provider things that they've learned over their history and over their journeys, and combining that with the hyperscaler products and services to create those edge use cases. So in direct answer, it's working collaboratively and together to solve those problems. It can't be done independently. It needs to be combined.
Okay. And immersive CX, with call as customer experience, while the products are getting more commoditized, I think every enterprise or every brand has started focusing on customer experience as a key differentiator. And I think if I look at brands like Nike and many others would have already started in this journey. What do you think? How can enterprises really differentiate using these technologies? And what are the technologies that are getting implemented that could drive this immersive experience for customers?
I think where I like to start on this type of discussion is to think about all of those industries and the fact that they have their own customer base and bringing to life or providing those platforms for those customer bases to innovate. So If you're a bank, providing a service or a product out to your customers will help them innovate faster. If you're an entertainment company, providing products and services to your end clients and allowing them to use it will ultimately determine how fast things get innovated upon. Likewise, for telcos and hyperscalers, the faster we can bring those accessible points on edge compute will allow our customers to innovate faster. So in terms of customer experience, it's bringing those products and services as close as possible to them and allowing them to use it to create their own unique experiences themselves. So whether that's in entertainment, whether it's live streaming 360 video out to those content providers and those customers that will use it, whether it's gaming and allowing that to happen faster for the gaming industry, the more we can provide those services to that customer base, it creates the feedback loop to come back and say, well, this worked well, this didn't work well, I want to experience this, and allow that input to go at the start of your development queue and allow that to be the next evolution of innovation. And therein lies how fast we can move. You'll never move fast enough until you give the item or the product or service to your users to experience and give feedback. The more feedback you can give, that's the more value you'll derive from that product or service. So my personal view is the better we can provide that service out to our customers to feel it and touch it is the faster we'll innovate.
Okay. And do you see some industry verticals going to pick up this very fast, or early adopters, and create a competitive advantage against other competition?
Do I see some of the industry verticals moving faster? I think there are certain industries out of pure necessity that will require these types of services to provide better products and services to other communities or to problems that need to be solved. So, for example, driverless vehicles. The faster we can get information through sensors up into a cloud or a compute service, the better quality or grade of safety that can be reissued back to the car as it's autonomously driving. That's sort of one area that comes to mind. I guess the others are large manufacturing or mining companies. They want to be safer than ever and provide really good environmental uplift to whatever they're trying to do. And so sensors are now being processed faster than ever back to base and back to the core compute node so that it can provide those real-time insights back to the mining or the manufacturing industry. So they have a higher quality or grade of product. They have faster turnarounds. They're providing less environmental impacts into the areas. That is where I've seen some sort of movement in the industry.
Actually, in fact, lot of noise is there on the private networks, and since you touched upon manufacturing and mining industry, I can clearly see a role of edge cloud in a big way in kind of automating processes, bringing digital twins kind of solutions, and ensuring that the productivity and the operational enhancements are there for these kind of industries. I also see and I would like to have some inputs there from you. Retail being a very, very, very big industry who can actually utilize immersive CX in a big way with people doing shopping virtually and actually getting a avatar of their own self to do all kinds of real time shopping experience through this immersive experience, as well as somewhere the technology plays a critical role there. What do you think so?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of use cases floating around. So perhaps you're buying a house on the other side of the globe, or in a different suburb, or in a different city. And so, I mean, I don't want to travel 8 hours to the other side of Australia in order to go and look through a home. And so, I can now have a real estate agent with a 360-degree camera streaming that to me in a way through my goggles or VR that I can experience that. That's sort of one use case that comes to mind. There are obviously really good use cases of customer experience of looking and holding a pair of shoes that you might want to visualize so that you can get the perspective and the depth of how big, what color, and so on and so forth. these unique experiences will all be there and get iterated upon depending on demand. And so the more we can evolve that and get it out to the customer base, once again, the faster the feedback loop comes, and the faster us as technologists can innovate on that, because that's where we witness where the demand is. So I think we should just continue trying to get out as many use cases as possible. Some will stick, others will not. And there's no harm in that. That's the spirit of innovation.
Thanks, Andrew. One more question that I had was, and maybe for the audience it would be good, what kind of technologies are driving this immersive experience? I mean, I'm hearing about AR, VR, and something called as XR. So any inputs on that? And maybe it would be good to get a practical view from you as to what exactly these technologies are.
Well, this is just personal reading and insight, and you understand, you sort of get immersed with, and you're very privileged to be part of multiple conversations through different organizations. But I guess the one that keeps coming back in my travels has always been gaming. Gaming is, it's an explosion, particularly through COVID. There was a lot of people that were in lockdown, particularly from where I'm from. And so gaming became a big part of people connecting with others over virtual experiences and immersive gameplay. And I think we underestimate how large the gaming metaverse potentially is, and how much in demand that is for people to be able to enjoy others' interactions virtually from their own home. That's obviously got huge demand on multiple things like internet access and throughput and latency, and also compute to be able to render these things fast and have that true experience. And through that, it allows us to read and interpret some of those data points and metrics and iterate and improve and make it faster and better. So from my personal view, I think gaming is probably one lens that's really forging a path.
Yeah, and I think gaming is a very, very high growth market today, specifically with consumers and then enterprises looking at giving the right experience to the end users. It becomes more important for them to bring their applications closer to the user. And being in telco, I think the play of telco also becomes therefore very, very critical in enabling edge and connectivity back to these kind of enterprises. One thing which I always feel, Andrew, is while a lot of technologies are there to enable these kind of experiences for end customers, somewhere the growth is a little slow in these kind of use cases. What do you think would be the reason? Is it an ecosystem play? Is it the technology is still not ready to handle this much of bandwidth, low latency, or the right set of partner ecosystem? Because many partners would get involved to deliver some kind of an experience, which would be an application partner, an edge partner, a telco, an equipment provider. What do you really think is hindering the growth of this entire use cases or solutions to be ready in the market?
That's a really good question. I mean, part of me wants to answer that by saying, when you formulate a good delivery team, a good technology team, having great governance, having a cohesive strategy, having the commitment of that team working together and collaboratively, irrespective of borders and boundaries and organizations, that will always survive and break down barriers, because they've got that common goal of working collaboratively and together. So I think many teams are still learning how to do that across regions, across organizations, and through new and ambiguous technologies, which are sometimes difficult to traverse when they're in their infancy. So that's part of the answer. The second part is we obviously have an increasing security vulnerability surface area with different regulations through different countries and borders. And that needs to be carefully thought about. And so not that I think it's a reason to go slow, but it's an important consideration to ensure that we all are working with trust. We're all working securely. We're all protecting each other's data. And sometimes going a little bit slow in order to go fast is important. So the answer is somewhere between those two, in my personal opinion.
And I feel that 5G is going to play a bigger role in this entire journey. What's your view?
Yeah, well, the faster we can get the network to the end customer, then the better the experience. So, I mean, I know from my 13-year-old son, he gets frustrated when his YouTube stream in 4K running the same time as his 4K Xbox, and his 4K television is all running slow. And you sort of think, well, you know, you've got a very heavy demand. And so he's now learned how to put some through the Wi-Fi and some over 5G so that he can run multiple streams at the same time. And that's an example of the next generation of people coming through that will just simply expect high quality, high grade services instantly. And that's what we've got to work with. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to break new barriers. We're going to see things that we would never have dreamt about before. And we just need to keep working collaboratively through that.
Yeah, that's true. And since you mentioned the experience that your son would like to have, I'm also afraid that sooner or later the use of technology will also help us while give all these kind of experiences, but may not disconnect us from a social angle, because we all would be sitting with gadgets in front of us, experiencing, shopping, everything happening on the screen, and we may lose the connect. But having said so, I think it's a critical one for a lot of enterprises to get into, these kind of solutions and experiences, because in my view, as the products gets commoditized, the only way you can create differentiator is through customer experience. And there are many industries which would like to, ride on this bandwagon to differentiate themselves from others. Good, Andrew. Thanks a lot for your time. It was nice talking to you, getting some of the experiences, what you feel about this, the new technologies and CX immersive experience. Look forward that we all would do this call, maybe just virtually sitting across as an avatar and and get going. Thanks a lot for your time, Andrew.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Andrew and Rohit, for that engaging fireside chat.